Welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be talking about the movie Zoe Gone. And honestly, this is one of the movies that I actually did enjoy to watch, and it was just filled with so many plot twists, and it was just different from your average movie that you would watch. It was like not really stereotypical, and it was like one of those movies like you're watching it like, oh, she's gonna do this, she's gonna do that, and it's like, no, she just took a whole different route, which honestly is good for her and was good for the child because she did what was best for her, what she thought was best for her baby, and she just did what needed to be done for her baby, and she made sure her baby got good parents and a good home for the baby to live in. So basically what this movie is about is basically a 16-year-old girl, and then after that she like decides that she wants to like raise the baby with her mother, her stepdad, and like the baby daddy. So anyway, the first person we're gonna talk about is Randy. I absolutely did not like Randy in the beginning because he was just a wimp. Like when um Jennifer was like giving birth and everything, he literally had to be told by somebody else in the room. I think it was the mother, to hold her hand while she's like literally pushing out his child, and she's just going through so much pain because honestly, I'm just gonna say right now, childbirth is not an easy thing, and she was just going through it, and it's a dangerous thing, and it's like a painful thing. I don't know because I don't have children, I don't want children, but I just heard others' women experiences, and you can Google it and all that stuff. And this kudos to women who have done that because I'm not having kids and I'm not going through that pain. It's even known that some women go through so much pain and exhaustion that they actually have to like ask for like pills to like soothe down the pain. So anywho, that scene happens, and that was like the first thing. And then the second thing that happens, that he literally, after she like gives birth and everything, he literally walks out of the room, and the mother follows him. And then after that, the mother literally has to like literally force him to stay and tells him to like man up and just be there for the child and be a good father. And then after that, she's just like talking about how scared he is and how much he doesn't want to do it anymore. And then the mother's like, but that's what y'all chose to do. Y'all wanted to raise the baby together. And then he just like ends up like running off like a little bitch. And I'm like, this man is horrible. And then after that, he ends up basically like lying about where he is and all that stuff. And then he's talking about how he was working extra shifts, and in reality he was like hanging out with some girl. And then after that, he tries to like make it up to I forgot the main character's name, but he ends up trying to make it up to her, bringing her flowers and all of that stuff. Meanwhile, the man ends up being late on his child support for 3 weeks, and then after that, he decides that he wants to like give her flowers and wants to spend more time together and all that stuff. And then after that, he does the bare minimum by giving the child support that he should have given to her on time. And then after that, the baby ends up like getting taken. My theory is that the reason why he did that wasn't because he actually wanted to be a decent human being, was because down on the line you actually find out that he was actually selling the baby. So to my theory is that he was doing that so he could distract, so he could like get more, so the person could be able to snatch the baby, which is even more terrible than like, not then, but it was just like a terrible, but like, you know what I'm trying to say, it was just like a terrible thing for him to do. And his character, I just, whew. So then down the line, after that, they end up having like a visual and all that stuff, and you know, I feel like Jennifer's trying to talk to him because like again their baby had just gone missing, and then they're having a conversation. He like tells her that he wants to run away and all that stuff, and he's getting out of the area. And then he's like, oh, but you didn't even want the baby in the first place, and And then another thing is her character development. She actually went from a person who really didn't want the baby and everything, but it's normal because, you know, she's 16. She's like still a minor, you know. She's literally in high school, you know. She's just literally in 11th grade. And it's like, what person do you know from 11th grade and just in high school and a minor is going to be able to know how to take care of a baby? At that age, they're not going to know how to take care of a baby. At that age, they're focusing on studying, prom, homecoming, going to parties, hanging out with her friends, not being a mother. So that is realistic. And after that, going through that ideal makes her realize that she actually does want to be a mother and that she should pay more attention to her child because her child did get snatched. So after that, she basically figures out that he actually has something to do with the child because she literally has to go and chase him down and get a gun and put it and basically have the gun and be like, if you don't tell me where my child is, blah blah blah, because she has the gun. So she's basically giving her an ultimatum. She's basically giving him an ultimatum with a gun, and she's like, if you don't give me where my child is, I have this gun, basically. And then after that, he basically confesses, and the police officers basically find out that all the data from the baby has been gone, and he basically confesses that he helped sell the baby for $200. No, not so $200,000 because he thought that by getting rid of the baby, they were able to get their normal lives back together. It's that's not how it works, and y'all will go to jail for that because you're selling a human being. And then after that, he then decides that he actually wants to help with doing that, getting his baby back. So they form this plan, and he actually helps, and he ends up getting shot. And then his the seller's girlfriend thing gets her nose broken, and then he ends up chasing her and Zoe down. The person who's trying to sell ends up chasing Zoe down with the baby, and then the officer ends up shooting him, and he dies. And then after all of that, she kind of realizes that she doesn't want to be a mother anymore, and that's best in her interest to put up the baby for adoption. And honestly, like I said, I'm pro-choice. I believe women should do whatever she wants with their body. Abortion, raising, adoption, all that stuff. And I'm just happy she did what was best for her interest and what was best for the baby's interest. I'm just happy for that. Now, the other character we're going to talk about is the stepdad. I'm not going to lie, I did not like the stepdad at first because he was just he just did not care, and he literally called his stepdaughter a bitch, and I was like, what the hell? What kind of stepdad he is? It's that. And then he was just trying to convince the mother to not help with the child, which I know is it's not her child and everything, but at the end of the day, they all came together and they all said they were going to she wanted to raise it and she didn't know how to, so she would have she was helping her, trying to help, but Jennifer was Jennifer, she's a teenager, she's not gonna listen and everything. Personally, if I was in her position, I would have just taken help, because at the end of the day, she's 16, she doesn't know anything about kids because she is a minor herself. And she's just trying to be a normal teenager and be a mother, which you cannot do at the same time because those are two different things. But yeah. And then at the end, he actually does get a little bit redeemable, and he actually becomes a decent person, and he even knows, and kind of at the end of the movie, he's kind of talking when everything's calm and settled. It's Jennifer, Zoe, and the mom, and he's oh, I never really imagined myself as a stepfather, and da 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 da. But because I have become a stepfather, I've become a better person, and he's saying he loves him. I'm yeah, so he finally became a redeemable character. And then the mother, I honestly agree with the mother, honestly, because I feel she was just living vicariously through her, because to her it's the same thing that they're going through, a generational thing, because she had her at the same age and now she had her kid at the same age. So I feel she was living vicariously through her, but I'm just happy that she supported her no matter what she was doing. So that was nice. But honestly, as Randy, if it was me and I was her, I would never talk to Randy again, because she just kept on making excuses for Randy each time. The man literally went 3 weeks late on his child support, and she kept making excuses for him and lied about where he was going and lied about him working extra shifts just so he could pay for the baby, and just lied about all that stuff, when in reality he wasn't even doing that. He was literally just hanging out with other girls and partying. So no. And then they tried to do a switcheroo with him, and for me it's kind of Randy is just something else. I would have just blocked him, move on with my life, because I could never ever be around someone like Randy. He's just too much. And before anybody brings up the excuse, oh, he was scared, he was too good and all that stuff, I was she was scared too, and she would have gone through all the scrutiny
because at the end of the day, sure, he would have been scared, but that scare gonna go away because he needed to man up and be a father. So at the end of the day, if y'all ask me about Randy's character, I don't really like his character. Yes, they tried to redeem him, but it was just like every time they tried to redeem him, he would just do something shittier than last. So as for his character, I really don't like his character, and he's kind of just annoying. Um, and then after that is like the sheriff and all that stuff. I actually like the sheriff. She was actually one of the characters that I actually wanted to be around and did not hate with a burning passion. And then there was the other girl, like she was nice and everything, but sometimes she could be annoying. But she was actually okay. I don't really like her that much. I don't know why. But one thing that I did like about this movie was that the fact that they never glamorized teen motherhood or anything like that. I'm just happy they didn't do that. But I do have a question for the people that wrote this movie. What was the point of Randy's character, honestly? Because they went very back and forth with him. When in reality, I feel like they should have just stuck with the fact that he was a bad person. Because what type of father has their infant and sells them for $200,000? Like, as soon as they put that detail into writing, they should have just like made him the evil character. But for some reason, they had to go back and forth and everything and try to like redeem him a little bit. But honestly, I feel like they should have just like kept him being evil because there's no coming back from that. Because to me, his character was just confusing and he was just annoying and he was just weak and whiny and just a wimp and just not somebody that should be a father. He should just be someone that you don't see. Like when he would always like do these little things and stuff like that, and he would try to get back in her good graces just to find out that he was selling his daughter is just the tipping point for me. It's just too much. But at the end of the movie, I'm honestly happy, like I said, that she did what needed to be done for herself and for the baby, even though the baby does come first, but she also has to put herself first and everything. So I'm just glad that she did what needed to be done best for Zoe and put the baby for adoption. And like I said, I am pro choice, meaning that you get the choice of adoption, abortion, or raising a child. And I'm just glad that she put the child up for adoption. But honestly, I feel like she should have just had the abortion because it just makes more sense and she wouldn't have to gone through all of this. Because some people say it's the easy way out, but it's kind of, some people say it's the easy way out. But honestly, to me, I feel like it's just the better way out because you don't have to deal with all of this stuff and you're not tied to anybody, you're not connected to anybody, and you don't have to just go through so much where you could just end it and it's just there. And I know some people believe, oh, it's murder and all that stuff, but it's like, whatever a woman wants to do with her body is nobody's business, and it's not murder. Well, at least to me, it's not, because all it is just removing of a pregnancy. That's not murder. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. This to me is just basically the removing of a pregnancy or of a fetus, and especially when they do remove it, it's not like, oh, they're gonna remove it when you're like late trimester or like middle. They remove it when you're literally when the baby not baby, sorry, they remove it when the fetus is literally like you can't even see. It's like so small. It's like the size of like, what would it be the size of? It would be the size of like something really really tiny, like an atom or something, like something small. So no, all it's doing is just removing a fetus, and all it's doing is removing a fetus and ending a pregnancy, not murder.